Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you to Water Your Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule of life. So getting into this video, it's 2025, it's a new year, and people are starting a new year as they often do with new goals, new resolutions. Some people started them in 2024, some people are starting them today. And no matter when you decide to start your goal, the key is to start. So I know some of you have clicked on this video because it says something about credit scores, and maybe that's your goal, to increase your credit score in 2025. And honestly, if that is your goal, you found the right channel, because over here at this Water Your Soil channel, I have a lot of videos on how to increase your credit score, how to maintain your credit score, learning about how to use credit cards, credit card utilization, and get the most out of credit card rewards and the benefits. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about one thing that has been destroying credit scores. I mean destroying them, whether it's a FICO credit score or Vantage, whatever it may be. This has been destroying credit scores both recently and in prior years. So when it comes to credit scores, one of the main credit scoring models that I have people focus on over here at this Water Your Soil channel is the FICO model, because that's who the three major credit bureaus use. That's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now, of course, there are other financial systems and credit bureaus, and people often come by and they mention those things and they want me to explain things in regards to those. But I like to focus on FICO because that's what's used by majority of the lenders. And if you're going to go and you're going to apply for a house, or you're going to go and apply for a car or an auto loan or a personal loan or a credit card, it's more than likely that your FICO score is going to be used. Is it a possibility that they might use something other than FICO, or go with a credit bureau that's other than Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion? It's possible, but for the most part, it's going to be one of the FICO scores, because there are a lot of FICO scores. I mentioned that in previous videos. There are more than one FICO score, and it's usually going to be put through either Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, or it could be put through two of them, or sometimes even all three. But in this video, I want to talk about the one thing that oftentimes destroy credit scores, and that's discretionary items. And some of you may be wondering, like, what are discretionary items? Discretionary items are any purchases you make with your credit card that aren't necessities. So of course, you have your bills, those are necessities. Gas, that's a necessity. Food, groceries, that's a necessity. Those type of things are necessities. But when you start getting into discretionary items, you could talk about trips. You could talk about a shoe collection, because we do have some sneakerheads out here, and I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. You could talk about people who do heavy shopping just for items that they like to go out and get. And you could also add going out to restaurants a lot in there, because sometimes that's not out of necessity. Some people, they just like fine dining. I remember years ago, I used to collect retro Jordans. I don't have them anymore, by the way. But I used to collect retro Jordans, and I was really into it, like constantly. And I was really into that. That was about maybe 7 and 10 years ago when I was really into collecting retros. And if it was a dope retro, I more than likely had it, because back then it was a lot easier to get your hands on retros and sneakers than it is now. But that was a form of discretionary spending that could potentially eat up someone's credit score. Because let's say you're someone with a credit card. Now, I wasn't putting all of those sneakers on a credit card back then. I was actually buying them with cash. But just imagine if I was someone who was using a credit card back then, and I was just buying these $200 and $300 pairs of sneakers, and it was just stacking up and adding up. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the average person is not savvy with credit cards. They're not well informed when it comes to managing a credit card. So they're more than likely going to be carrying over balances. And one of the problems with discretionary spending is the items are usually expensive, and they usually cost more than necessities. Let's use a trip, for example. The average trip, in my opinion, when people take trips and they travel abroad or they travel domestic, it's usually going to hit you around $500, right? That's at minimum, in my opinion. Maybe some people, they have a free flight, or they use a buddy pass, or they fly Spirit or Frontier or something like that, and they're able to come across a cheap flight. But for the most part, when you do the flight, the hotel, the food, a lot of people like to go and shop for a trip. They like to go out and eat. When you really factor in all of those things, you're spending close to $500 or more. Like I said, it varies. So don't come in the comment section and say, oh, I don't spend that much, or I spend way more than that. I'm just throwing a number out there. But imagine you're going on multiple trips per year. Some people even go every other month. Some people go every 3 months. And not only are you stacking up your balance from those trips because you're not paying them off in full when you take them, but you're also using money for maybe clothes or your necessities, or when you're at home, you like to go out and eat and have fine dining or whatever it may be. That credit card debt begins to add up. So discretionary items is something that people don't really talk about often, but we have credit card debt right now at $1.17 trillion. It's only going to continue to get higher, these balances, and discretionary spending is responsible for a good chunk of that money. From time to time, people like to come by and they blame it all on necessities. They're like, hey, it's hard out here, so we're using our credit card just to get by. But I'm not naive, and I know there are a lot of people out there who are using their credit cards for discretionary spending and discretionary items. They're not just using their credit card for necessities like gas, food, and groceries and things like that. They're taking them trips. They're going shopping and buying designer or sneakers or whatever it may be. They're going on dates often. They're spending money, and people are entitled to do whatever they want with their money. I want to make that clear. You can do whatever you want with your money, especially since majority of you are adults if you're watching this channel. But you have to be careful when it comes to discretionary items because their balances are usually higher. And if you are someone that carries over balances, which I don't advise any of you to do, I think all of you should pay off whatever you spend on a month-to-month basis, or however way you want to do it. It's not wise to carry over balances because of how high interest is. But if you are someone that's carrying over balances, those discretionary items with how expensive they are can land you in some trouble. And it's out here destroying credit scores. We talk about credit card debt over here often, but honestly, credit scores are also getting hit. And credit scores were going up in the previous years, but they're kind of at a standstill. And hopefully they won't start trending downward, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I just wanted to share this video with you. If you're new to credit and learning about credit scores and credit cards, luckily for you, this channel is filled with videos covering both of those things. But anyways, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss a future video because I post often. That's clicking on that bell and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you, my subscribers included. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes 1 second. It let the algorithm know that you support this video and this channel. Once again, we're in 2025. I wish you all prosperity. Let's attack increasing these credit scores and learn about how to manage credit cards the correct way. This is Water Your Soil. I appreciate all of you, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.